As to your state of mind, the defendant called you a bitch?
Well, because I said,
No, my question is very simple. You testified a few minutes ago. He called you a bitch. That was at Sam's Club?
that was in the beginning of the fight, yes.
Okay.
That was like right before it started. I told him, I was like, I was like, is that Trip? As soon as he turned around, he's like, I was like, oh, didn't you write that stuff on the door?
Okay. Slow down, sir. My question is very simple. My question is, he called you a bitch at Sam's Club, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that made you upset, right? And then he said you wasn't going to do nothing, right?
He was intimidating me.
Just my question is very simple, sir. It's just, is that what you said he said? Okay. So that's a yes?
Yes.
And that made you mad?
Just answered the question. Thank you. Go ahead.
Sorry, Your Honor. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, that's stupid. But go ahead. Let's do it.
You had no business being in that class. These other people pay money to go to.
Get ready to witness a textbook Karen moment in the courtroom.
Text. We're done here. All right. 14A District Court for County of Washington, State of Michigan is now in session. All those having business before the court draw near. The Honorable Judge J. Cedric Simpson preside.
You may be seated. So, which one? I think I got a warning one.
Yeah. Oh, no, I have not got it yet.
She just told me, but well, what I was reading, I think it's until 10. Court does call the case of the people versus Caitlin Morgan.
Morning, Your Honor. Salami for the people.
Is that David? No, it's not David. I'm not David.
Good morning, Cheryl Foster Tucker on behalf of Caitlin Morgan.
I called it because I like you better. All right, what are we doing?
Your Honor, I have talked to my client this morning. She says she's on her way. So.
Okay.
So I'm hoping she'll be here soon.
Me too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. That's a beautiful way to start my week. Appreciate it. Court does call the case. People versus Mahar Kasham.
Salami for the people.
David I. Goldstein appearing on behalf of the defendant.
Take time set for trial. Are we ready to proceed?
We are, Your Honor. There's one thing I want to talk to Mr. Goldstein about, but I just need 1 second, please.
Sure.
Let me step up for just a second. So.
Oh, you're leaving.
I'll be right back.
No, it's okay. Nobody said they were leaving. Why bother? They're gone. No, thank you, Al.
Recording in progress.
What were we not doing? It was not you.
It was Your Honor.
Okay, we're on the Kasham matter. Are we now ready to?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, ready, Your Honor.
All right. Opening statements.
Yeah, Your Honor, the waive opening, if there's no objection from the defense.
No objection. I'll waive also, Your Honor.
All right, very good. You may call your first witness.
Bernard Kilgore. Your Honor, for the record, Washington County Internet is experiencing intermittent outages this morning, so if there's some delay in presentation of exhibits, I do apologize.
Mine's working just fine. Anyway.
I'm very glad to hear that. Your Honor.
All right. Exit now.
Where you take a seat, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to affirm the testimony you're about to give with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. See, state, spell your first and last name for the record, please.
I'm Nard Kilgore, BERNARD,
Thank you. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, sir. How are you employed?
I work for Instacart
And what capacity do you work for Instacart?
full time.
And what do you do for Instacart?
I'm a delivery driver.
Are you a shopper as well? Where are some of the stores that you shop?
All the major stores. I do Myers, Kroger, Target, Sam's Club, Costco, Total Wine.
Were you shopping on April 3rd, 2024?
Yeah.
What was one of the stores that you shopped at that day?
Sam's Club.
Where is Sam's Club located?
It's in Michigan.
Is that in Washtenaw County, state of Michigan?
The court will take judicial notice that Sam's Club is located in Pittsfield Township.
Is that the location on Carpenter Road at near Michigan Ave?
Yes.
What time about were you there, if you recall?
Afternoon.
What happened when you got to Sam's Club to shop that day?
I picked up an order for a customer. Well, order came to my phone. And as I walked into Sam's Club, there's two ways you can get into Sam's. You want me to tell you the whole thing?
Please.
Okay, so there's two ways you can get into or get to the part of Sam's Club where I go to get my boxes, which is back in the produce. You can either walk towards the front, past the people that ask you if you want to change your phone service, like T-Mobile, whatever, or you can bypass them and go around the back towards the produce and it ends you up where the box is at where I need.
Which way did you decide to go that day?
I always decide to go towards the back to bypass the people in the front. I'm talking to me because I'm actually working. I don't have time to slow down.
So when you talk about going around the back, like what section do you sort of loop around to get to where you like to walk?
So in the Sam's Club, the first rows, I go to the back, past the automotive, pet stuff, baby stuff. And at the end of that row is the produce section of Sam's Club.
Okay. What happened as you
You
were
take
heading?
the first row and you walk all the way down past like the eye center and like all the way down.
Yeah, so
On that back side.
That way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
What were you doing while you were walking toward the produce section where the boxes are?
So I was looking in my phone. I'm always in my phone while I'm working, looking at the customer's item list. So I was in my phone looking at the list to see how many boxes I would need to pack their order in.
What happened?
As I'm walking and walking with my cart and looking at my phone, I'm hearing, "Is that Trip?"
Is that Trip?
Yeah, that's my middle name. Trip is my middle name. Trip is the name that I go by. I don't go by Bernard. Everybody who knows me call me Trip. Middle name.
TRIPP?
Yes.
What happened when you heard that?
So I heard, "Is that Trip?" And I'm still in my phone, but I'm not really paying attention to it slowly. And then when I look up, I see him and his daughter rushing at me and him saying, "Remember, I told you I got something for you." When
All
I
right.
see
Let's pause there. Who's him?
my heart,
Mahar Kasham?
yes,
Do you see the person you know as Mahar Kasham in the courtroom?
yes, right there in the white lady.
Your Honor, may the record reflect and was identify the defendant.
Record shows so reflect that objection.
So you say you saw him and his daughter?
Yeah,
Had you seen his daughter before?
no.
And what happened after you saw the defendant and his daughter?
They was rushing up to me, attacking me.
What happened next?
While they was attacking me.
How did they attack you?
So before I could put my phone down to defend myself, my heart was swinging on me and his daughter was swinging on me on the videos.
What happened while they were swinging on you?
My heart was punching me and his daughter was punching me, trying to punch me too, but while I was trying to keep my heart off me, his daughter reached up under and grabbed my shirt, broke my chain off. But I wasn't trying to, I guess, punch her. She's a girl at the end of the day. I was just mushing her back, but while my heart was still swinging.
What happened after well, I guess let me ask you a different question. What happened as this was going on? Did you stay in the same location in the store?
No, so while they both were trying to attack me or jump me, they pushed me back into a emergency exit door, which sounded the alarm and that's what notified the workers, and I guess the police would come.
Are you familiar with where this emergency exit door is within Sam's Club?
Yes.
What happened after you went through the emergency exit door?
After I went through the emergency exit door, I pushed my way back inside the Sam's Club, and then I remember I was drugged to the floor, and they were still fighting.
And while this was going on, you were still physically engaged with each other, still fighting?
Yes, and I had pulled my coat over my head, so I really couldn't see when they drugged me to the floor. I don't know if it was him or his daughter that was kicking me in the back of my head.
But Mahar, was he making physical contact with you, punching, hitting, kicking something up the whole time? Now, you mentioned that there was a video. Have you had a chance to review the video this morning?
Yes.
And Your Honor, for the record, the parties did stipulate to the admission of this video. Mr. Goldstein and I have looked at it. I'm going to start it at about the 13-minute, 45-second for this clip, if the court will allow. I don't think there's any objection to starting there.
Closed systems.
Mr. Kilgore, can you let us know when we can see you in this video?
Your Honor, I'm going to object. My
Okay, stop.
my understanding is that the law recently has been that when videos are played as part of a court proceeding, the videos are the evidence. And it's not proper to narrate what's seen on the video. Now, I know that usually comes up in the context of police videos, dash cams and so forth, and the police then saying this is what happened. And the appellate courts have said, no, the video speaks for itself. So
Well, I get what you're indicating, and I do think it applies in a different context. I think the only question that was asked is where he is on the video.
Your Honor, what I was about to say was that if that's all she's going to ask him, that's fine. I'll withdraw my objection. But if she's going to ask him to narrate what's being shown, then I'm going to object.
Understood. Okay, go ahead.
May he answer the question, Your Honor?
Yes, he may.
Can you see yourself on this video at this point? I've paused it at 13:59.
Yes,
Where are you?
with the basket in the middle of the aisle,
What are you wearing?
jacket
Okay.
and hoodie under it.
And Your Honor, oh, thank you. My only other intention is to ask if he sees the defendant on the video at some point. I don't intend to ask him to narrate what's happening in the video.
Understood. Okay. I'll allow that question.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
And for the record, I'm going to stop it at about the 18-minute and 15-second mark of the video. Excuse me. Did you have any injuries as a result of this incident?
Yes.
What injuries did you have?
From kicking the head, headache, nose wrapped up.
Was your clothing damaged?
Yes.
How?
Blood on.
Just have one moment, Your Honor.
You may.
Thank you.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
I have no questions. Your Honor.
All right, no questions. You may step down.
May I need this witness to be excused?
Any objection?
Sorry, Your Honor.
Any objection to the excusing of this witness?
No.
No, this witness may be excused.
Jake Millar for the.
All right. Come forward, be sworn.
See you raise your right hand. Solemnly swear to affirm the testimony about to give the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. Let's see. State your story, first and last name for the record, please.
Jake Milnar, Jake, time out Y, M-A-R.
You may inquire.
How are you employed, sir? How long have you been in that position?
1 year as a clever.
Were you so employed on April the 3rd, 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you working that day? What were you wearing?
Pretty much the exact same thing.
Class B uniform?
Yes, ma'am.
Displaying your badge of office?
Yes, ma'am.
What were you driving?
Fully marked.
Were you dispatched to the Sam's Club located on Carpenter Road near Michigan Avenue? I think the exact address is 5450 Carpenter Road.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you make contact with anybody in the courtroom on that date?
So they,
Did you make contact with anybody who's currently in the courtroom on that date?
yes, ma'am.
Was one of those people the defendant?
Yes, ma'am.
Who do you know him to be?
This is Mark Shum, the gentleman with beer, when they were there.
Your Honor, may the record reflect that this witness identified the defendant.
Without objection, record shall so reflect.
When you made contact with him, what did you notice about his appearance?
He appeared that he was in a physical altercation. His clothing was distressed as if he had been fighting with somebody. I also observed abrasions on his knuckles. He had blood on his clothing.
Did you ask him about the source of the blood?
Yes, he said that he was the victim that he was fighting with.
Did you ask him about, what did you say about his knuckles? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
He had abrasions on his knuckles. He had been punching something.
Did you ask him what happened?
Yes, he said that.
What did he say happened specifically in the order of events?
He said that he had recognized Mr. Kilgore, called out to him. Then Mr. Kilgore then took off his jacket and approached him with his fist closed. Then Mr. Kilgore slurs against him, threatening his daughter, that punched each other at the same time, that mutual combat. He said that at some point they ended up on the ground as well, but the altercation was essentially.
I'll pass the witness.
Questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, officer. Appreciate it. I guess happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Any additional witnesses for
No, Your
the,
Honor, full request.
At this time, Your Honor, I have a motion for a directed verdict. I guess if this was a jury trial, it'd be a directed verdict of not guilty. We have testimony of Mr. Kilgore that he tried to portray it as basically he was minding his own business and he got attacked. The officer testified that when he spoke to my client gave a different version. The interesting thing about my client's version is it's supported by the video that the court saw. The court saw Mr. Kilgore leave his cart, turn around, and approach the defendant. So at best, it was mutual combat. At worst, it was an assault by Mr. Kilgore on my client. And my client at that point was with other people. And so his swinging on Mr. Kilgore in response to Mr. Kilgore's action was appropriate, given that he felt he had to protect the two females that were with him. This was not an assault by my client. The video supports that. The video also supports that Mr. Kilgore's version is not true. That video very clearly shows Mr. Kilgore walking toward my client in an aggressive manner. So we're asking the court to find my client.
You're claiming at the point he passes that aisle, he turns around and goes back towards your client. You're not claiming, I just want to be clear, you're not claiming as he's coming down the back aisleway.
No, you can see him push the cart, turn around, and walk back toward my client.
All right, I may have to look at that again, but go ahead.
I was actually going to play the video that was admitted, Your Honor, as part of and then give my response sort of along with the video. It may be just a few seconds before it originally started, but I don't think it'll be as.
While she's doing that, let me just continue. He talked about being on the ground and being kicked in the head. That doesn't show anywhere on the video. It also shows that after the initial contact between them, Mr. Kilgore continues to approach my client. Now, at that point, I will concede they're both approaching each other. I mean, as they say on the street these days, game on. But at that point, it certainly, Mr. Kilgore was not a passive victim in this particular case.
And Your Honor, in response to that, I will first play the video and then I will make my arguments.
All right.
I think we're just a few seconds before when it originally was played, but
Go ahead.
not a substantive amount.
Go ahead.
And Your Honor, with the court's permission, I'm going to go back and just play the very beginning of it, because this is where my argument really begins. Mr. Goldstein says that the defendant was approached by the victim, and Officer Malarnek, he testified that the defendant told him that the victim took his jacket off and then swung at him. That's clearly not what's demonstrated on this video. The defendant is the first one to begin the physical contact. He's the first one to throw a punch. And we'd ask that the court deny the directed verdict motion and allow this to continue to let the court render its verdict in the matter at hand.
Your Honor, in my argument, I never.
Back up just a second.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Lundy. Okay, right there.
Will that work?
Yes.
Okay.
If I don't.
But he is.
Your Honor, in my argument, I never mentioned who swung first. What I pointed out was that the testimony of Mr. Kilgore was that he was basically minding his own business and the defendant rushed at him. This video shows that he was approaching the defendant. Actually, they were approaching each other. I didn't talk about who swung first. What I talked about was that Mr. Kilgore was acting in an aggressive manner.
That's correct. But what I'm saying is that the defendant told the police Mr. Kilgore swung first, but that's not what's shown on the video. I'm nothing further as to the directed verdict. I'm happy to answer any other questions the court has.
All right. The court, in looking at the exhibit, and addressing this as a directed verdict, taking into the light most favorable to the non-moving party, that being the people of the state of Michigan, the court would at this time deny the defendant's motion for a directed verdict. One can maybe make something of that, but I don't think that, given what I see at that point, that it would be proper for this court to rule on a directed verdict and dismiss this matter as a matter of fact. And so I would find that there would be sufficient evidence, potentially, that a reasonable fact finder could conclude, doesn't mean that they would, that the defendant would be guilty of this charge. So I'll deny the motion for a directed verdict.
This time we called the defendant.
All right. Sir, please come forward and be sworn.
Steve, raise your right hand. You solemnly swear to affirm the testimony about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. So, have a seat. State and spell your first and last name for the record, please.
Mahar Kashan, MAHARKASHAN.
All right, you may inquire.
Sir, we saw a video, correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear any voices on that video? Okay, you were there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, would you tell us what Mr. Kilgore was saying to you as he approached you in that video?
He
I'm
was
gonna
saying,
object to hearsay.
It's not being admitted for the truth of the matter, Your Honor.
State of mind.
State of mind.
I will overrule the objection.
so we had a conflict, so you know what?
No, just answer my question. What was he saying to you?
I was a bitch and I was gonna do nothing about it.
Okay, did he make any reference to you as far as your background was concerned?
Yes, during the fight, he called me a dirty Arab. Like 2 or 3 times.
I take it the two of you knew each other before this date?
Yes, sir.
Would you say there was bad blood between the two of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, him toward you as well as you toward him.
Yes, sir. He's been my kids.
He what?
He met my kids on the door. He wrote on the door. I had to.
On the door to what?
On one of my properties.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Just so the court understands, he was a tenant of yours, is that correct?
Yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Kashan,
What, before you go on,
I'm sorry.
what happened with that tenancy?
Forfeiture. It was a land contract. Forfeit because he was in expense.
How long ago did that occur?
A couple years ago. A couple years ago.
Was there a court proceeding regarding that forfeiture?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
That court proceeding is still ongoing, correct?
No.
When did it end?
Like a year or two ago. That was a lot ago.
So you said that, as to your state of mind, the defendant called you a bitch?
Well, because I said.
No, my question is very simple. You testified a few minutes ago. He called you a bitch. That was at Sam's Club?
That was in the beginning of the fight, yes.
Okay.
That was like right before it started. I told him, I was like, I was like, is that Trip? As soon as he turned around, he's like, I was like, oh, didn't you write that stuff on the door?
Okay. Slow down, sir. My question is very simple. My question is, he called you a bitch
Yes, ma'am.
at Sam's Club, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that made you upset, right?
Yeah.
And then he said you wasn't going to do nothing, right?
He was intimidating me.
Yeah. Just, my question is very simple, sir. It's just, is that what you said he said? Okay. So that's a yes?
Yes.
And that made you mad?
Just answered the question. Thank you. Go ahead.
Sorry, Your Honor. Didn't mean to interrupt you. And that upset you, correct? It made you angry? Angry enough to engage in this physical altercation?
Take my daughter, yes.
That wasn't my question. Would it make you angry enough to engage in this physical altercation?
Sustained.
So you were there with your daughter and another woman, correct? And during the fight is when he called you that racial slur? Nothing further.
Nothing further. I'm sorry. Mr. Kasham, the verbal back and forth that Ms. Blondie asked you about, was that right at the beginning of the fight?
It was at the beginning of the fight, it was during the middle of the fight, and it was.
But it started at the beginning.
Yes, absolutely.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Leading up to the forfeiture action on the land contract, were there altercations between the two of you before that?
Yes, sir.
Were there altercations during the forfeiture action?
No, not at all. I actually gave him an extra day to, he said he wasn't ready, so he asked me if he could have an extra day, and I told him absolutely.
Mr. Kasham, you have to keep your voice up so Ms. Blondie and I don't hear.
He needed an extra day to clean up, and I didn't want to put his stuff out on the street, so he get an extra day, so he got to go out. I was trying to use.
Did that work out where he got his stuff out?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The door you talked about where things were written, where was that door located?
I was located right on the other side of his unit.
On Spinnaker Way?
Yes, sir.
So it was on the other side of his unit?
Yes, sir.
Who was in that unit on the other side?
It was empty at the time, it was a Hispanic family who just left.
If you know, and I don't really necessarily want you to speculate, why were there things written about your daughter?
They were intimidating. He was intimidating me. They were slashing our tires. They came in.
Hold on. I don't know who they are.
Well, it was him, and you could hear his partner on the phone. I Sam's Club on the speaker. So
Not asking that. There, you said at a point there was something that was put on the door at this off of Spinnaker Way, right?
Sir.
Why? What was his relationship to your daughter?
He didn't have any relationship to my daughter. He just knows that that's my heart. So each other.
So, what do you believe would have provoked him to do that about you? You're the forfeiture. So when did that occur?
I don't know the exact date, but it was
But it was in the earlier part of 2023. Would that be fair to say?
it may be 2023, or it could have been 2022 also. At the end of 2022.
There are two people that are with you on that date at Sam's Club. I think it was two women. Who were they?
That's my daughter and my friend.
The one that was, I guess I'll just put it, engaging in what was going on, was that your daughter?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it is. Because it's vinegar. Got it. Okay. Had the two of you ever fought before?
I almost got into an altercation at a different eviction.
What do you mean at a different eviction?
I was evicting Ishmael Diallo also. And the Washington County was there.
All right. Was Mr. Kilgore there?
Yes.
Why would Mr. Kilgore have been there?
He was watching the possession of vicious stuff that was put onto the curb.
So you're evicting another unit.
Yes, sir.
And does Mr. Kilgore live in that area? Was this all on Spinnaker Way?
No, this was at Roundtree. His eviction was at Spinner Cove. The incident I'm talking about was at Roundtree.
All right. Why was Mr. Kilgore there?
I think that was I believe that was his friend. He was just watching his property that was set to the curb.
Got it. Okay.
We're sending stuff out to the curb.
Well, and why on that occasion would the two of you have entered into a altercation?
As I was setting Ish's property onto the curb, I got out of the car and he was just flicking me off in this car. So I was flicking
When did that occur?
That was, I think that was earlier this year. I believe that was earlier this year, sir.
So it would have been after the forfeiture of the land contract.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions based upon the court's questions?
I'll let Mr. Goldstein go first. if he
I
has
have
any.
no questions, Your Honor.
Just so that the parties are aware, I did pull the court record. There was indeed a land contract forfeiture out of 14B that was initiated on February 27th of 2023 when it was filed, and a judgment by default was entered March 24th of 2023 with a 90-day redemption period. And then after, or right at that 90-day, there was an order of eviction filed in June. Not entirely laid out, but the order of eviction was recalled on July 25th, 2023. As the writ was canceled after posting, which would fit into what Mr. Hisham said regarding a voluntary round.
I have one follow-up question. I'm sorry, Eric, that's okay.
Go ahead.
How old is your daughter, or how old was she on stage?
13.
That's all the follow-up I have. Thank you, Your Honor.
So at the time in 2023, she was what, 12?
No, she was 13 at the time, sir.
She was 13. At the time of this incident, she was 13?
Yes, sir.
I think that was the question you asked.
At the Sam's Club, this assault.
She was 13. Okay. At the time of the forfeiture, she would have been 12. Is that right? If I have my dates right. In 2023, she was 12. Would that be fair? Okay. Well, I almost hate to ask, but I'm going to ask anyway. What kinds of things were written about your daughter?
They were gonna kill my kids and my brother's kids. It should be in the wash.
They, who? Who is
Trip.
they?
Trip in his accomplice.
I don't know.
I had a trail camera set up, and he barely, like, I got the side of his face, but when the sheriffs came over there, they said they couldn't do nothing with it because it didn't really show him, but I know who he is. You know, he did it.
I didn't ask all that.
I'm sorry.
Only answer the questions. You have a bad problem with that.
I'm sorry.
Any other questions based upon the court's questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right. You may step down. Any additional witnesses for the defense?
No, Your Honor. We rest.
Any rebuttal witnesses for the people?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Closing arguments.
And the people are asking the court.
Enter a conviction of the assault and battery against the defendant. We've shown here today that the date and time of question, the location, the venue's not an issue, date's not an issue. None of those things are a question. It really comes down to this physical altercation. And the people have presented a video which really documents the happenings and comports with the victim's testimony. None of this happens unless and until the defendant calls out to the victim. That's what starts all of this.
Well, is that how do we know that?
The victim's testimony,
All right.
as well as the defendant said, I believe, to the police officer, the police officer testified that the defendant told him he recognized Kilgore and called out to him. So that's consistent from both of them. But then that's where the stories diverge, and the video really provides a lot of instruction here. The defendant tells the police officer that the victim took off his jacket and swung at him, but that's not what happened. We can see in the video, there's clearly the defendant is grabbing the victim by the jacket, pulling the jacket over his head as this physical altercation continues. Your Honor, the defendant testified that he was angry.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Let's say that there was a calling out. What do I do, or what would the people have me do with the fact that Mr. Kilgore stops, turns, and comes back toward the aisle that Mr. Kasham had just gone down going the other way?
Mr. Kilgore had heard his name that he goes by be called out. Somebody goes, is that Tripp? He turns and he looks and he goes back to see who's calling out to him and sees it's the defendant coming at him, Your Honor.
Okay. Before then, and again, before Mr. Kasham swings, why doesn't he keep walking?
I think
He's
it's
heading by his own testimony, but also in looking at the video. He is headed down. He has basically one more aisle to go before he's back in the produce area that Mr. Kasham had just come from. Why doesn't he keep walking?
I don't know why he doesn't keep walking, except that somebody calls out the name that he goes by and he turns and looks. It's a very quick happening before the defendant and him are face to face and the physical altercation begins.
Right.
Your Honor, that's really the meat, I think, of this. And I think that the video is the best evidence for the court. And I'm happy to play just that small portion again so the court can see it. And then we see this physical altercation happen in the way that the victim did describe it. It continues, it goes out, they go out the exit door, which you can see the sunlight kind of stream in from the outside when you're watching the video. And you see this altercation continue where it initially starts out the exit door, back in the other aisle where we can't quite see because it's the other aisle that goes the other way. It's blocked by the merchandise that's stacked up. And there's nothing to say that calling someone, saying, I have something for you, or calling someone a bitch, or saying you're not going to do anything about it. That's not where the assault and the battery begins. Where the battery begins is the altercation, is the physical fight. And I'm just going to play that last portion, and I'll reserve any further argument for rebuttal.
All right, go ahead. Can you back that up again?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
I have a question regarding it.
Sorry, I think I backed up a tiny bit too far. There we go.
Would you agree in looking at that it's, as Mr. Kasham is coming out of that aisle, that it's in fact Mr. Kilgore who is approaching Mr. Kasham?
I would agree that they were approaching each other.
Very briefly, Your Honor, because I think the tape, if it wasn't for the video, we'd be having long arguments, but the tape, I think, makes it much simpler. The so-called calling out was him simply saying, hey, is that Tripp? Wasn't threatening, wasn't intimidating, wasn't in any way, trying to provoke him. It was just simply saying, isn't that Tripp? And as the court, next point, as the court pointed out, they were coming to, I agree with Ms. Blondie, and I think she would agree that she and I agree much more often than I do with most other prosecutors. They were approaching each other, but you saw Mr. Kilgore swinging almost immediately with what in the old days you and I would have called a roundhouse right. He came from down low and swung with a wild right hand. And I can't tell whether he made contact or not, but he had a number of opportunities to walk away. And a number of times he came back and continued the confrontation. That's number 3. Number 4, you also saw in the video a number of times when my client interposed himself between Mr. Kilgore and the females and tried to hold them back, indicating that he was concerned for their safety. I think now, you know what, Your Honor? I would be very happy if the court could find both of these parties guilty of something. But because the people chose not to charge Mr. Kilgore, you can't do that. So the next fairest option is to find neither of them guilty.
What I'll go to in rebuttal is this. I would ask the court, I'm going to pull up the exhibit again, the video, for the, 5th time at least, and look at, as the defendant is walking, he appears to be having his phone, I'm sorry, the victim is walking, excuse me, we see the defendant has already gone in the other aisle. Defendant is in the other aisle, victim is walking, appears he has his phone in his hand, his right hand, walking. You can see in front of his lighter jeans, looks like there's something black in his hand. Holding onto the cart with the phone, puts the phone down.
So right there.
Yeah.
Ms. Lundy.
Yes.
Back that up and play as Mr. Kasham comes out of that aisle and focusing on what Mr. Kilgore is doing. It's clearly what one can see what Mr. Kasham is doing. Right, that why does he make those steps that he makes toward Mr. Kasham? If you could play that again.
Yes.
And that's probably the most troublesome part for the court. This isn't a circumstance where if we watch this, he comes out and then he's coming at him also. I mean, regardless of them both acting like absolute juveniles and they both need to grow the heck up, would you agree that at that moment, they're really just headed at each other?
I think they're walking towards each other. I don't think.
Play that again, because his steps are something different than just a walk toward Mr. Kasham. As Mr. Kasham's coming toward him. Then they both, at that one moment, and actually you can see probably Mr. Kasham's legs a little bit clearer. They're both bracing to swing. Look, it's just Mr. Kasham beats him. I mean, if I see it that way, what would the people's argument be?
The argument of the people is that Mr. Kasham is the one who begins the confrontation, calls out to the defendant, walks completely out of the aisle that he's in, walks down the side, I'm going to call it the side aisle, like the outside aisle, for lack of a better term, goes towards the defendant. I'm sorry, the defendant goes towards the victim turns around to go towards the defendant, and the defendant
hold on
swings
though,
first.
Ms. Lundy. When they get into that aisle, they're both headed at each other, aren't they?
They're walking towards each other, yes.
Right. And if you look at the posture, and if you want to play it again, you look at the posture of their legs. When Mr. Kasham comes out and as they get close to each other, Mr. Kilgore's hand drops. His posturing of his legs actually are very similar initially to that of Mr. Kasham's legs. They're going to swing on each other. There is not a doubt in my mind that they're going to swing on each other. And why does Mr. Kilgore, I guess I'd ask the people, why does he speed up toward Mr. Kasham? He sees him.
Yes. He has seen him at that point. I know what the court's talking about in the video where he's turned.
Yes. And then he sees Mr. Kasham. Mr. Kasham is walking into that aisle. He heads back. And if you play that again, and particular focus on the legs of both Mr. Kasham and Mr. Kilgore. They're coming out, and then do you see what I'm talking about in terms of Mr. Kilgore's legs? Mr. Kilgore kicks what would be his right leg back to brace to swing because he's coming from the right-hand side. I'm not an expert boxer, but I mean, I know how you got to brace yourself if you're going to swing.
I understand what the court is looking at for the legs.
Right.
But
hold on. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you.
No. I thought I was trying to answer the question, but I understand there's another question.
His leg comes back, his hand drops. And I would ask the people, especially given what has been said about the past between these two, why wouldn't this just be a circumstance where two people are coming at each other? The one that is more efficient in their swing is the one that gets charged. Because what's clear to me is that if Mr. Kasham doesn't swing, but given how he testifies, I don't think he has that discipline in him. But if he doesn't swing, Mr. Kilgore swings on him.
May I answer?
Yeah,
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
So what I'd like to show the court is as we go through these sort of second by second, and we see Mr. Kilgore has turned his head,
Right.
stops the cart, turns his body. Now we see Mr. Kasham is sort of at the end of the aisle coming out. We see Mr. Kasham is approaching. Mr. Kilgore turns his body more and starts to head that way. And as we come together, we now see Mr. Kasham lowering his, what it looks like lowering his left half to the people and swinging that right hand over top. And then we see
Hold on.
Mr.
But
Kilgore.
as you're
I
stopping
know.
right there, look at Mr. Kilgore's leg.
Correct. He has now assumed that stance, but he doesn't have it until that hand goes up, is the people's contention. It's a
Until
different
which hand goes up?
Mr. Kasham's. So Mr. Kilgore is now walking,
But that
and now he gets hit, and his legs have sort of gone to that stance. That would
he
be
doesn't quite get hit.
that would be what the people's contention would be regarding
Okay.
the legs there. Your Honor, the people believe the evidence shows the defendant swung first, and we're asking the court to return a verdict of guilty. That's all I have in rebuttal. Thank you.
Thank you. You're off. Let me get. Court's gonna take a brief break before I make a decision on this, but I've got to do one thing. Detective Erskine, are you there?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay, great.
Oh, there he is. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you, sir?
Oh, I can't hear you. Hang on, that's Ann. She's messing this whole thing up. We good, yeah?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, we're good.
We're good. Can you hear me, Detective?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You could
Fantastic.
please raise your hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the information contained in the search warrant affidavit is true to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief?
I do.
All right, very good. I'll sign off on this. We'll get this right back over to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
With to the, thank you. Stay safe, please, sir.
You as well.
And with regard to the Kasham matter, court will take a brief recess and then I'll return and give you my verdict.
Thank you.
All rise.
Thank you.
The 14A District Court for County of Washington, State of Michigan is now back in session. Jay Cedric Simpson presiding.
You may be seated. Back on the record in the case of the People's State of Michigan versus Kasham. In this matter, the court has gone through this and reviewed a few cases, particularly regarding that of mutual combat, and it can sometimes be a, I won't say a discretionary call, but there's that issue. And while it's not entirely applicable, the notion of one being in an area and allowed to stay in that area and defend themselves from an attack, all of those things came to mind as it regarded this case. But the video in this court's mind speaks for itself, when particularly when closely examined. Mr. Kilgore's arm, his right hand, well, let me back up, because if I take the testimony that Tripp is called out, he begins to walk back. He turns and walks back. There's not a doubt, no question about that. At that point, however, Mr. Kasham is coming out of the aisle. There is a point at which the two are still distanced from each other, and clearly Mr. Kilgore can see who it is, if that were his sole reasoning for his sort of curiosity in turning around. And if it were to stop there, likely we wouldn't have had an altercation, or if Mr. Kasham had continued to advance with Mr. Kilgore doing nothing, it would be a much clearer case of an assault and battery. However, that's not what happens. What happens is that the two of them begin to close on each other. Part of the reason that we're here is because, as oftentimes this court finds itself in, is that the individual who may end up getting charged is indeed the individual who ever landed the first blow. That's what happened in this case. Mr. Kasham lands the first blow. Part of the reason that he lands the first blow, however, is because as they're closing, and while the court was looking at it and while the prosecutor was up, Mr. Kilgore's feet are not in a position for him to swing with his right hand. His right hand is clearly down in position to come around, but his feet aren't. But if you watch just the next split second, after being hit, he tries to shift his feet to make that swing. I don't know that I can think of a case where two people are coming at each other. I believe that both are at some point aggressors in coming at each other, and that this court's mind by definition makes this a mutual combat situation. Now, having said that, there then becomes other points in time, Mr. Kasham being the one on trial, where the court could have focused in on his actions then constituting assault and battery because he comes at Mr. Kilgore. Court won't do that. That wasn't the focus of this trial. I'm not going to do that because, and I almost hate saying Mr. Goldstein would be corrected and that both would be charged, because at the point at which Mr. Kasham at some point is coming after Mr. Kilgore, there is a corresponding point, quite frankly, that Mr. Kilgore then attempts to try to go after Mr. Kasham. If I had my druthers, I would find you both guilty, because and that's what I would do, because I think you acted like two high school kids trying to resolve something that as grown adults, you should find a better way to do it. But I am left in this circumstance with that focal point. It wasn't an assault in this, it was a mutual assault if one wants to call it, but they're closing on each other. They're trying to both advance and come to blows with each other. It's just that Mr. Kasham was in the better position regarding his swing to take the swing. He hit Mr. Kilgore. And again, that's why I think we're here. So for those reasons, the court does not believe that the people have sustained their burden. Well, the people haven't sustained their burden that the defendant is guilty of assault and battery. The people, I think, have shown that there was one without taking into account the actions of Mr. Kilgore. But the court, I don't think it's left with any alternative but to find the defendant not guilty of these offenses. Defendant's found not guilty.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I'll try in the future not to put you in a position of having to agree with me, okay?
Please. It's hurtful to me as a human being. It's hurtful. And, pardon?
I think staggered leaving might be it.
Yeah, Mr. Kasham, you have a seat until Mr. Kilgore is out of the building. You can have a seat back there. Don't sit at my table.
Thank you.
Just don't leave until such time as we say you can leave. And also, you have that for Detective Erskine. Right. Okay, thank you.
It's okay if you walk in, make sure.
Oh, okay. Thank you, officer.
Thank you.
No problem.
What's today? 25th?
Today is 25th.
1 month till Christmas.
I said that this morning.
You're not leaving right this second, are you?
No, I think we have, Mr. Officer Tucker's case to call, and then,
Really? I tried this once this morning. Court does call the case of the people versus Caitlin Morgan.
that's a lot of people.
Officer Tucker for Caitlin Morgan was approaching.
Caitlin Morgan.
Thank you.
Probably you're unable to proceed.
Motion to dismiss.
People being unable to proceed, this case is dismissed. That's without prejudice.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that it for us for right now? So we can,
You're supposed to have a sentencing for an individual from the DOC, but they never signed that.
okay, okay, I'll hold that file in case they do pop on one of our other dockets before I do anything with them. Okay, court stands in recess.
Well, that's stupid. Don't assault somebody, especially.
Tap on the X.